And now we're looking at part 4 of 6 of Unit 9 with circles. This is all going to be about arcs and angles. That's the big idea. So just so you guys know, there's going to be so much information thrown at you here in a second, but I want you to keep in mind just one kind of general picture. An arc with another arc, and we're going to fill in either a plus or minus something in here. We're going to divide those by 2, and that's going to be something to do with the angle. Okay, so we got arcs. We're going to divide them by 2, and then we're going to get an angle. So this is the picture that we're going to look at over and over and over again. So let's jump in. All right, we got 3 possibilities. Either the vertex is on a circle, boom, there it is right on the circle. It's inside the circle, boom, there it is inside the circle, or outside the circle, boom, there it is outside the circle. Okay, so we have all these words. So many words. And then these pictures. So much going on. But here's what's really happening. Here's some sample calculations for you guys. I'm not going to get lost in those. I'm really just going to try and show you kind of my version of it here in these next ones. So let's jump at it. X, V, Q. So here's what I see. This is 240. Oh, did I skip one? Looks like I skipped one. Are they on the same page? Oh, there they are. They were way up there. Here are these annotations. Let's go up to the top. There we go. Alright, so this first one, Z is on the circle. We are on the circle, which means we're going to have 2 arcs. We're going to be adding them together. Here's 120, but the problem is, when you get to be on the circle, this other arc is 0. It got squeezed, so we're going to have 120 plus 0. We're going to divide that by 2. That's going to equal the angle, which is really what it's asking here. Okay, so 120 plus 0 is 120, divided by 2 is 60, so that's just 60 degrees. In fact, that's something that we kind of saw earlier, that this angle was half this arc. Okay, now here we got 2 arcs, 32 and 130. So again, it's going to be arc, arc. We're going to add them together. This is 130 plus 32 divided by 2 equals the angle. Okay, so 130 plus 32 is 162. Then we're going to divide that by 2, and that's going to be, well, what is that going to be? That's going to be 81. So the answer, 81. All right, let's keep going. Let's keep going here. Now they try to get all tricky on us. Notice this. Red arc, blue arc are both here. And they both make a full circle. So we got 240, and then whatever this arc here is, that's going to be 360 minus 240, which is 120. So this arc is 120. They didn't really write that down, but the information's there. It's not hard to find. And they're asking us to find this angle outside. Now, when it's outside, you still have the 2 angles, or the 2 arcs, pardon me. So I have 240 and 120. And I'm still going to divide by 2, but this time I'm going to subtract. Ooh, okay, so 240 minus 120, that actually equals 120 divided by 2, which is 60. So this angle on the outside, that's 60 degrees. All right, now this next one, very similar. We're going to have a big blue arc, and then a little red arc here. And because we have that, we're going to have, the blue arc and then the red arc, and we're going to put them together in such a way that we come up with this angle outside here. So we start off by taking the big blue arc, 102, then the little arc, 40. We're going to divide by 2, and that's going to equal our angle. Now, because we are outside here, the intersection between these 2 lines is outside, we're going to subtract. So 102 minus 40, that happens to be 62. And we're going to divide that by 2, and that gives us 31 degrees. So that's 31 degrees. Piece of cake, right? Okay, well, let's start applying this in a really advanced way now. So this first one says, what is LM? Well, I don't know. I don't know at all. But But I know that if I knew this arc LM, or not only that, LM, but see how I have 78, this is 78 here. And if I knew this arc, KH, I could use the 78 to figure out what LM was with the KH. Because that's 2 out of 3 pieces in the relationship. But I am not even there yet. So let's take a step back. I want to just figure out KH first by looking at KH, LH, and this 40 degrees. So I'm going to look at that little trio. I know that LH minus KH, so that's 168 minus, I don't know what this is, we'll call it X, divided by 2 is going to equal 40. How do I know that? Because it's outside the circle. So I'm going to do the subtraction, and if I subtract the 2 arcs and divide by 2, I get the outside piece. Okay, so this is an algebra equation. I just got to solve it. Well, if I multiply both pieces by 2, and remember that 2 is really for the whole side over here on the left, that gives me 168 minus x equals 80. Okay, let's do some math here. We're going to add x to both sides, and we're going to subtract 80. That gives me 88 equals x. Okay, so this is 88 right here. Now I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm going to take this piece in red mixed with this piece in red and this angle here, 78 degrees, because I know that those 2 arcs that are in red are going to add up, divided by 2, and equal the angle, because it's inside. Notice that the intersection for this one's inside. Well, the angle is 78. One of the arcs is 88, but the other one I don't know. Okay, so we have similar algebra happening. We're going to multiply by 2 to get rid of that denominator. So then I'll have x plus 88 equals 78 divided by 2. Well, let's see, what would that be? Or times 2, pardon me. That's 156. Then we're going to subtract 88 from each of those. And then x will be, is that 68? Yeah, 68. Hey, so there it is. This is 68 degrees. Excellent. Cool, 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 cool. An artist painted the design shown below. What is the value of x? Right there. I have a feeling that we're going to have to go kind of all over the place just to figure this one out. So let's see what we could figure out. I see that 70 degrees with this 44 could help me find this arc here. Alright. So let's erase that little arrow there. That means that I could do the 2 arcs added divided by 2 equals the angle. Why is it added? Because the intersection is inside for that setup. So that means 44, and we'll call it, whoa, let's not call it x because we already have an x. Let's make a different letter. How about y? And that is going to make the angle on the inside, which is 70 degrees. Okay, so again, we got this, got to get rid of that denominator. We got 44 plus y equals 140. So when we subtract 44, that'll give me y equals 96. So this up here is 96 degrees. Okay, so how does that help me? Well, I see that this blue arc plus the y value, if I put those together, I get this full arc all the way across, which corresponds to this 86 degrees. So that whole thing would be double the 86, because this is on the circle, which means that it's an arc plus 0 divided by 2 is 86. So what would that be? That's 172. So I got the whole arc is 172. 172. And part of it I know is 96. The question is, what's the other part? The x. Well, to do that, I just need to subtract. Okay, so 172 minus 96 let's see, minus 172 plus 4 is 76, right? No, plus 6. Is that right? No, minus. Let's just do it. I'm trying to do some fancy math, not working. And that means we got a 6 here. 16 minus 9 is 76. So 76. 76 degrees. Not too hard. Let's keep on seeing what we got here. All right, now we got some Earth. Why do we use Earth so much, Ms. Weller? Because the Earth is round like a circle. That's pretty much the idea. A polar orbiting satellite is about 850 kilometers above the Earth. Okay. About 69.2 arc degrees of the planet are visible to the camera in the satellite. What is measure of angle P? Oh, okay, so this right here, this arc is 69.2, and it's asking us about angle P. Well, what they're not saying is, well, what about the other arc? Well, how would I find that part of it? The major arc, you could say. Well, that's 360 minus that what we just found, which was 69.2. Which, if you put that together, you would get 190.8. So this out here is 190.8. Now I see two arcs, and it's asking me about an angle. So I know that I have two arcs and an angle type relationship. I'm going to divide those arcs by 2 to get the angle. The question is, do I add, subtract, or is the second one 0? Well, I'm outside of the circle here, so that means I'm going to subtract. So I have 190.8 minus 69.2. And if I subtract those, oh, what are we going to get? That's kind of crazy. That's 6.6, something 0.6. And 190 minus 69 would be let's see, minus 70 would be 120. So it's going to be 121. 121.6. And then I got to divide that by 2. Alright, so that's going to go in 608. So 60.8. There we go. That's what it would be, 60.8 degrees. A geostationary satellite is about 35,800 kilometers from Earth. How many arc degrees of the planet are visible to a camera in the satellite? Oof. Alright, so we got 17.4 out here. This says X, and here's where this gets really weird. The rest of this, around the other side, is 360 minus X. Okay, so again, we're going to have these two arcs in an angle relationship, so we're going to do something with the two arcs divided by 2. Because we are outside, we're going to subtract. The bigger one is 360 minus X. I'm going to need more space than this. We'll have 360 minus X. It's one arc. The other arc is X. And we got divided by 2 equals 17.4. Alright, so if we're to figure this out, it looks like I can combine these two negative x's. That's going to give me 360 minus 2x divided by 2 equals 17.4. So I could multiply both sides by 2 to get rid of that. Then I'll have 360 minus 2x equals 17.4 times 2, which is 34.8. And then we're going to subtract 34.8 from 360. We're going to add 2x to both sides. Let's see what we come up with. Let's see, 34. I'm just going to do a calculator. This is getting too long. 360 minus 34.8 gives me 325.2. Then I'm going to wind up dividing that by 2. It gives me 162.6 because this was 325.2 equals 2x, and then we figure out that x equals, it was here just a second ago, 162.6. Check. That was awesome. Okay, let's keep going with this idea. Alright, now we got some just crazy kind of mixtures. So I see two arcs and I see that it's outside here. So that means I'm going to have the arc angle relationship. The two arcs divided by 2 are going to equal the angle. The question is, how do I set up the pieces? Well, it looks like the angle is over here, 5x plus 2, and then the arcs are going to be the big one, 12x plus 30, minus the little one, 40. All right, now there's a lot of options here. I know we've been dividing or multiplying by 2 to get rid of this denominator, so I'm going to stick with that. Multiply both sides by 2. On the left side, I have 12x plus 30 minus 40, which is really minus 10. On the right side, I have this 2, which I have to now distribute, which gives me 10x plus 4. If I do some algebra, subtract 10x from each side, add 10 to each side. Let's see where that gets me. 2x equals 14. Divide by 2, x equals 7. Okay, so x equals 7. What's the question you're going to ask me? ADE. So be careful, the answer is not A, because x equals 7, but ADE is not 7, is 5 times 7 plus 2, which is 35 plus 2, or 37 degrees. Now the person who would have guessed B would have done 5 times 7 minus 2 by accident, and they would have gotten 33. And the person who guessed D probably plugged it into this arc, not thinking, oh, I'm supposed to find measure of angle ADE. Right, we got one more with this problem solving, and then I'll move you guys on to the review for mastery. Even if there's more, I'm just going to do one more. So let's look at number 6 here. It says VTU. All right, okay, well, let's see what's happening. I see that this is 30, and I see that this is 81. So I got this arc, and this angle, and I could put that together with this arc here, the SQ, because that gives me the arc angle relationship. I know that I have the big arc, 81, minus the little arc, we'll call it x. I don't know what it is. We divide that by 2, and that's going to give us the angle, which is 30. If we multiply both sides by 2, that gives me 81 minus x equals 60. So what do I have to subtract to get 60? Well, that means that this right here would be 21 degrees. Okay, so how does that help me? That's 21 degrees. Over here, this is 57, and I think that's going to help me find VTU, because now I have these three pieces, 21, 57, and then the angle on the inside. So that gives me the arc angle relationship. So I'm going to take the two arcs and divide them by 2. Because the intersection's on the inside, I'm going to add. So it tells me 57 plus 21 divided by 2 gives me my angle. So 57 and 21 together make 78. So we're going to divide that by 2, and that should give me 39 degrees. Sweet. So, did I mention? Yep. So, oh, that's it. So you're done for now. Take 10 minutes or so, maybe 15 if you need, and start working on the review for mastery. Then we'll go over it.